Red and Green BEEDRILL is definitely one of the better looking sprites the first games gave us. It's also super threatening because he's pointing the spear at you, not your Pokemon. He's personally threatening that he's going to fly straight at you and jab your eyes out, and that's going to get some fear points from me. He does, however, look a little off still. I never normally advocate for a Pokemon to fly because some of the restrictions that places on sprites and models, but seeing BEEDRILL actually use his feet is uncanny to say the least. Red and Blue BEEDRILL is weirdly undetailed. Like, the previous sprite looked like a BEEDRILL, but this one looks like he got turned into a children's toy. He's so smooth, and his wings are oddly butterfly and less insect-like. This isn't a great sprite, but it does still resemble BEEDRILL, so it's got that going for it at least. Pokemon Yellow BEEDRILL is, well, he's yellow. It certainly looks better than the previous two. He's proportioned correctly and his features have been added where needed, like the insect wing patterns, the sharper face shape, the more muscular stance. Honestly, other than the blinding yellow he's covered in, this is a pretty good interpretation of BEEDRILL, and hey, he doesn't even look like a monster even though he stood on his feet. Golden Crystal BEEDRILL is weirdly cute. Like, the open body posture as opposed to the hunched and battle ready pose makes him look less mean, and I like that. BEEDRILL is always seen as the very rude, very mean bee Pokemon, and in the wild, they tend to be. But a trained BEEDRILL is probably a sweetheart. If they were tameable in the way dogs can be trained, then I would love to own a BEEDRILL, and this sprite really brings that home for me. Now, Silver BEEDRILL definitely doesn't have that cute factor, but he looks a lot more like a fighter. This pose is probably my favourite for BEEDRILL, and since you can see him leaning in, it gives you a sense of motion, even though it doesn't move. All of his features are right, so you don't have to worry about that from now on, and ultimately, I like the way they handled this sprite. It was a good job. Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Fire Red and Leaf Green all do the same thing, and while this may be the most iconic look for BEEDRILL, I would hesitate to say that it's amazing. This specific set of sprites always bothered me as a kid because I never understood why BEEDRILL always had his elbows bent to point downward. If they were heavy, he should just relax his arms because then he wasn't wasting energy holding them up, and if they aren't heavy, then is pointing them downwards really the best choice? Spears are usually thrusted forward into the body. Either way, it bothered me then, and it kinda bothers me now, and I would prefer that it change. Here are the rankings.